Hello learners, welcome to Dynamic Studies. In Crash Course of Management, today is day 3 and we will discuss various topics under Unit 3. The syllabus of Unit 3 is Strategic Role of Human Resource Management, Competency Management, Balance Scorecard, Career Planning and Development, Performance Management and Appraisal, Organization Development, Organizational Changes, Organization Development Interventions, talent management, skill development, employee engagement, work-life balance, industrial relations, under industrial relations, disputes and grievance management, labor welfare and social security, trade union and collective bargaining, international human resource management, HR challenges of international businesses, green HRM. First topic is strategic human resource management. Okay, so let us discuss what is human resource management. Human resource management is proper utilization of human resource effectively and efficiently so to maximize the performance of organization. Okay, what is the aim of HRM? HRM aims to enable the organization to obtain and retain the skilled, committed and well motivated workforce it needs. Okay, so strategic human resource management is applying various strategies in human resource management so to achieve the objective efficiently, effectively and enhance the performance. Okay, strategic HR role focusing on aligned HR strategies and practices with business strategies. Okay, so when it is basically the integration of HR strategies with business strategies. Okay, strategic human resource management is the linking of HRM with strategic goals, objective in order to improve business performance and development of organizational culture that foster innovative and flexibility. Basically, in a strategic process, what is a strategic process? In a strategic process, there is two phases. First one is strategic formulation and another one is strategic implementation. So, utilization of these phases in human resource management is strategic management. Okay. So, note down the name of philosopher Borges. He defined strategic management as the management in which organization establish purpose and pursue that purpose through the co-alignment of organization resources with environmental opportunity and constraint. Okay. Now, let us discuss what are the strategic HRM concern of strategic HRM. Okay, so the concern of strategic HRM are analysis the opportunity and threat existing in external environment, formulate strategies that will match the organization internal strength and weaknesses with environmental threats and opportunities. So basically this is SWOT analysis. Okay, I have discussed this analysis before as well in my previous videos. Then implement the strategies so formulated and then evaluate and control activities to ensure that organization objectives are duly achieved. Okay, so let us discuss what are the benefits of strategic management. Strategic management, basically the main function of strategic management is enhancement of financial and non-financial benefits to organization practice. Okay, now strategic human resource management therefore concerned with following: analysis, opportunity, threat. This I have already discussed. Now, competency mapping. What competency mapping is? Competency mapping is the process used in business management. It deals with behavior exhibit by employee. Competency mapping is a process to identify key competencies for organization and incorporate those competencies throughout the various processes: job evaluation, training, recruitment. Okay, so this is basically the work of competency mapping. Okay, this process is used in business management. Okay, a competency, what is competency? Competency is defined as behavior. Competency is basically is a behavior, that is communication or leadership, rather than a skill and ability. This question has been asked, what a competency? It's a behavior or a skill. So it is behavior. Okay, now yeah, these are the various function of competency mapping. Like this establishes expectation for performance excellence, aids in human resource process, training and development, recruitment and internal mobility, direct career development, modifying style working of the employee. Okay, so let us discuss method of competency mapping. Please note down the method of competency mapping. There is an assessment center. There is a term, that is assessment center. Assessment center is not a location, it's a procedure that uses a variety of technique to evaluate employees for manpower, purpose and decisions. Okay, so assessment center, in assessment center, how the assessment is going on. First technique is critical incident technique. Please note down all these techniques, these are very important. Critical incident technique uses data gathering and analysis to identify job specific behavior that influence the success or failure of an individual or collective business operation performing a certain job. Okay, data about critical events, a substantial example of accomplishment or failure, is collected through interview or questionnaire as soon as possible after occurrence. Okay, so in critical incident, basically they gather the data and analyze this to identify job specific behavior. Okay, then personal interview. Personal interview, the candidate interview provide first hand insight into candidate behavior and is an effective method for collecting relevant information and impression about prospective employees. Now questionnaire. Questionnaire offers another approach for gathering information about job competency and work performance. Several types used in competency mapping include common matrix questionnaire that highlights work requirements and activities, functional job analysis that describe job duties, characteristics, occupation analysis, inventory that specify work elements for almost all occupation, position analysis questionnaire that ties job characteristic to human characteristics and work profile. Okay, so this is very important one. Now psychometric test. What is psychometric test? Psychometric tests provide a consistent approach. This provide a consistent approach to measure and qualifying a sample of behavioral attitude. Basically, there are two main type of psychometric assessment. First one, aptitude test, and another one is achievement test. Aptitude tests are used to identify natural inclination in a specific area such as art or science and are designed to help predict how well a person would perform in a given specialty after being provided with training. Okay, so this is all about competency mapping. Let us discuss what is balance scorecard. Balance scorecard is a concept in management and major system which enable organization to clarify their vision, strategy, translate them into action, and the goal of the balance scorecard is to tie business performance to organization strategy by measuring result in four areas: financial performance, customer knowledge, internal business process, and learning and growth. Okay, so balance scorecard method of please note down this is the method of Kaplan and Notion in a strategic approach and performance management system. This is a system, this is the concept of Kaplan and Notion. Okay, please note down the name of philosopher. Okay, so basically there are three perspectives. First one is financial perspective, customer perspective, and business process perspective. Four perspective, and last one is learning and growth perspective. So balance scorecard forces manager to look at business from four important perspectives. Okay, it links performance measured by requiring firm to address 4 basic questions. These 4 perspectives are very important. Please note them, and the name of philosopher is also important. So, how do customers see us? What must we excel at? Internal perspective. How we continue to improve and create value, innovation and learning perspective. How do we look to shareholders, financial perspective. So, BSc suggests that we view the organization from 4 perspectives to develop objective and measure key performance element, targets, initiative related to each of these point of view. Financial, customer, internal process, organization capacity. Okay, so this is all about balance scorecard. Now, career planning and development. What is career planning? Career is what? Career planning assumes greater significance with unparalleled growth and speed of knowledge, phenomenal increase in educational and training facility, widespread increase in job opportunity. Okay? So, career planning implies planning of a specific career path of employee in foreseeable future further in the organization. It may be useful to work out career path chart for incumbent of different job clusters. Okay, now career planning process is the process by which one select career goal and the path to its goal, and then career development is those personal improvement one undertake to achieve a personal career plan. Okay, so now let us discuss what is need for career planning. Okay, or career planning is essential for. Career planning is essential for to attract competent person and to retain them in organization. Okay, and another one is to provide suitable proportional opportunities to enable the employees to develop mismatch them ready to meet the future challenges, to increase the utilization of managerial reserves within an organization to correct employee placement, to reduce employee dissatisfaction and turnover, to improve motivation and morale. Okay, now let us discuss what are the various steps in career planning and development. So basically there are 7 steps in career planning development. First one is analysis of individual skills, knowledge, ability and aptitude, and then analysis of career opportunities both within and outside the organization. Then analyzing the career demand on incumbent in terms of skills, knowledge, ability, aptitude, and in terms of qualification, experience, training and received. Then relating specific job to different career opportunity. After that, establishing relative goals both short term and long term. Then formulating career strategy covering area of changes and adjustment. After that, preparing and implementing action plan including acquiring resources for achieving goals. Now, under the light of above brief theoretical background, an attempt is made to analyze career planning and development activities in cooperative banking sector in Kolhapur district based on primary data collected for study. This question has been asked: career planning and development activities in cooperative banking sector, Kolhapur district. Okay. Now, let us discuss performance management and appraisal. Performance management is a goal-oriented process directed towards ensuring that organizational processes are in place to maximize the productivity of employees, team, ultimately the organization. Ultimately the organization, it is major player in accomplishing organizational strategy in that it involves measuring and improving the value of workforce. Okay. Performance management system are one of the major focus in business today. Okay. Every HR function contribute to performance management, training, performance appraisal, play a more significant role. Okay. Each part of system such as training, appraisal, reward is integrated and linked for the purpose of continuous organization effectiveness. Okay. With the help of performance management, The efforts of each and every worker should be directed towards achieving strategic goal. If a worker's skills need to be improved, training is needed. With performance measurement system, training has a direct tie into achieving organization effectiveness. Okay. Now performance appraisal. Appraisal is a formal system of review and evaluation of individual or a team task performance. A critical point in a definition is the word formal, because in actuality manager should be reviewing an individual performance on continuous basis. Performance appraisal is especially critical to the success of performance management. Although performance appraisal is but one component of performance management, it is vital in that directive reflect. So the organization strategic plan is, although evaluation of team performance is critical when team exists in an organization. So the focus of performance appraisal is most firm remain on individual employee. Now let us discuss what are the uses of performance appraisal. For many organizations, the primary goal of appraisal system is to improve individual and organizational performance. There may be other goal, however. A potential problem with performance appraisal and the possible cause of much dissatisfaction is expecting too much from one appraisal plan. For example, a plan that is effective for developing employee may not be the best for determining pay increases. Yet a properly designed system can help achieve organizational objective and enhance employee performance. So this is all about performance management and appraisal. Now let us discuss organization development and change. Organization development is the practical application of science of organization, drawing from several disciplines for its models, strategic and techniques. Organization development focuses on the planned change of human system and contribute to organization science through the knowledge gained from its study of complex change dynamics. Okay. So organization development is a field of applied behavior. Applied behavioral science related to planned change. This is the brief definition of organization development, that is, it's a field of applied behavioral science related to planned changes. Okay. By action research, we mean the participating model of collaborating and interacting diagnosis and action taking in which the leader, organization member and organization development practitioner work together to define and resolve problem opportunities because of extensive applicability of the model in organizational development. Okay, organization development is an effort is planned organization wide and managed from top and increase organization effectiveness through planned interventions in organization. Okay, now let us discuss what is modern definition of organization development. Modern definition of organization development is, it is enhancing congruence between organizational structure, process, strategy, people and culture, developing new and creative organization solution, developing the organization's self-renewing capacity. Okay, so there are major 4 steps in organization development: T group, survey feedback technology, action research, socio-technical and socio-clinical approach. So let us discuss them one by one. First one is T group. T group or laboratory training. This is participant learn from their own actions and group evolving dynamics. Developing reliable questionnaire, collecting data from personnel, analyzing it for trend and feeding the result back to everyone for action planning. Diagnosing, taking decision, re-diagnosing, taking new actions. Integrate social requirements of employee with technical requirement needed to do work in provide environment. Okay, then in this second generation organization development. What is second generation organization development? organization transportation, organization culture, learning organization, total quality management, vision and future search, business process reengineering, quality of work life. So these are the application of this type of this kind of organization development. Okay. Then survey feedback technology, action research, and social technical and social clinical approach. Now let us discuss organization development interventions. Interventions. What is intervention? Interventions are principal learning processes in an action stage of organization development. Okay, basically interventions are structured activity used individually or in combination by the members of client system to improve their social or task performance. Okay, they may be introduced by the change agent as part of the improvement program, or they may be used by client following a program to check on the state of organization health. Okay, now let us discuss some major organization development interventions. Okay, first one is diagnosis activities. These activity involves collection of all the pertinent information about the state of organization. This can be done through organization operation record, observation of task activity, meeting with subordinate, interviewing with workers, and so on. Then team building. What is team building? Team building activities are designed to enhance the effectiveness and satisfaction of individuals who work in a group. Then sensitivity training. Sensitivity training refers to the method of changing behavior. Please note down the question, that is sensitivity training is on the job training. This question has been asked in exam several times. Okay, this is very important. So this refers to the method of changing behavior through unstructured group interaction. The idea is that in such training periods, the participant can openly express their ideas, belief, perception, attitude. They learn about interpersonal behavior. And next is intergroup relationship. Just as there are problems within a group, there are problems among two or more different groups who are interdependent among themselves. The activities of these groups must be synchronized and coordinated to achieve the organization goal. Then process consultation. The purpose of process consultation is for an outside organization development consultant to assist the management. Okay. Now let us discuss organizational changes. Organization change portray how manager maintain viable organization. Okay. So change means the new state of things indifferent from the old state of thing. Okay. Change means the new state of thing. Okay. So most demand for change come from outside the organization, from government agencies, competition, new technology, customer, market forces, and a larger from society. Okay. Sometimes the demand for change come from within the organization, a new CEO. Okay. So these are the organizational changes. Okay, organization change portray how manager maintain viable organization. One consequences of the need to maintain organizational viability is that the system must be prepared to accommodate itself to change. Most manager today recognize the necessity for anticipating and preparing for change in order for their organization to survive. So, yeah, the problem chronile are integration, social influence, collaboration, adaptation, identity, and revitalization. These are the basic problems. Now let us discuss various approaches that a manager should follow for organizational changes. First one is structure approach. Second one is technical approach, and then humanistic approach. We will discuss them one by one. So structure approach, change efforts of these nature are directed to administrative structure of organization. Variables such as line staff relation, authority and responsibility, assignment, communication practices, decentralization, centralization, departmentalization are all target of structure change. Okay, so when departmentalization is doing, then this is a structure approach by the management for organizational changes. Okay, centralizing or decentralizing or authority and responsibility assignments, these are the example of structural approach. This had been asked in exam previously. So reorganization can be a powerful level for change in putting the resources where you need it. For example, restructuring into business center which are closely aligned with particular customer group. Okay, now next one is technological approach. This impact of technology on organization performance has often been noted and it is logical variable to alter to change organization behavior. In scientific management, mass production assembly lines and computer technology, operational research are all form of technological changes. In general, the introduction of new technology in the form of new equipment or new method for using existing resource lead to change in any or all of the following: task and job content, social interaction, job environment. Listen, these approaches are very important. Okay, question has been asked based on these approaches. Okay, now humanistic approach. So the approach is directed at affecting change in individual behavior. This mainly focus on individual. Technological approach focus on technology, structural focus on structure of the organization, and humanistic approach focus mainly on the individual behavior. And the entry point to the reorganization process are people themselves. This contracts to structural and technical approach. Okay, so this is all about organizational change. Now let us discuss what is talent management. Okay, talent management is also known as, please note down this point, this has been asked in exam. Talent management is also known as human capital management. Okay, talent management refers to the skill of attracting highly skilled workers, of integrating new workers, and developing, retaining current workers to meet current and future business objective. The process of attracting and retaining profitable employees, as it is increasingly more competitive between firms and of strategic importance, has come to be known as the war for talent. Talent management is concerned with coordinating and managing the different talent people have to offer within organization. Okay, so let us discuss what is meaning of talent. Talent is ability, aptitude, band, capacity, endowment, faculty, flair, forte, genius, gift or knack. These words have been asked. Okay, so please note down them. Usual, natural ability to do something well that can be developed by training. Okay, now functions of talent management. In order to achieve the above mentioned objective, various functions that an organization should institute through HRM and other department, that is talent need analysis, locating the talent resources, attracting talent towards organization, recruiting and appointing the talents, managing competitive salary, professional fees, training development of talent pool, performance evaluation of talent, career and growth planning, retention management. Okay, now let us discuss effective measure to hire and retain talent. Okay, how should be effective measure should be taken to hire and retain the talent. Okay, so HR department to hire the right employee for the proper role in organization or else increase attribute will contribute to loss of business. Some effective measures for HR to hire and retain talent are: hire right people. Hiring the right people for the right job is beneficiary to organization as well as new hires. Keep up the promises. When a company commits to one candidate, it has to live up to their promise and vice versa. Then good working environment, a healthy work environment should be there. Recognition of merit, timely motivation, rewards, appreciation will keep the employee spirit alive. Then provide learning opportunities, regular learning opportunities on and off the job training section, management development program, distance learning program should be conducted for employee. Now, what is talent job management process? So, in talent management process, understanding the requirement. It is the preparatory stage. Okay, first talent management process. The first step is understanding the requirements. Okay, then sourcing the talent. Second stage is sourcing the talent, best talent of the industry, searching for the people according to requirement in the main activity. Then attracting the talent. It is important to attract the talented people to work with you, as whole process revolve around this only. Then recruiting the talent, then selecting the talent, then training and development, then retention. Okay, these are the various steps in talent management process. Yeah, the other steps are promotion, competency mapping, performance appraisal, career planning, succession planning, exit. So, talent management is a very complex and therefore very difficult to handle. The sole purpose of whole process is to place the right person at right place in a right time. The main issue of concern is to establish the right fit between job and individual. Now let us discuss some of the advantage of effective talent management. First one is organization effectiveness and efficiency can improve continuously, help in achieving the business goals with superior performance. People are more satisfied, retention of talent improves, people turn goes down, better overall growth of people. Now let us discuss what is skill management. A skill is a practice of understanding, developing the people or their skills. Well implemented skills management should identify the skills that job role require and the skills of individual employees. Any gap between two. To perform management function and assume multiple roles, manager must be skilled. So there are various kind of skills. First one is conceptual skill, human skill and technical skills. Okay, these are the basic skills a person should have or a manager should have. So the conceptual skills are needed at top level of management. Okay, the human skills are needed at middle level of management and technical skills are needed at supervisory or operational management. Please note down these points, these are very important. Questions has been asked based on this concept, that conceptual skills are based on top management, human skills are based on middle management and then technical skills at operational management level or lower level management. Okay, so this is all about skill management. Now let us discuss employee engagement. Yeah, employee engagement. What is employee engagement? Employee engagement is fundamental concept in the efforts to understand and describe both qualitatively and quantitatively the nature of relationship between organization and its employee. So, note down this. An engaged employee. Who is engaged employee? An engaged employee is defined as one who is fully absorbed by and enthusiastic about their work. So, take positive action to further organization reputation and interest. Okay, an engaged employee has positive attitude toward organization. Engagement should closely relate to job involvement and flow. Now, actively engaged employee known as builder realize their role expectations, strive to meet and exceed them. Okay, now not engaged employee. Not engaged concentrate more on task rather than goal and outcome, tend to feel that their contribution is being overlooked and their potential is not being tapped. Unproductive relationship with manager or co-worker. actively disengaged. So there are basically three kinds of employee engagement: actively engaged, disengaged, or actively not engaged. Okay. Yeah, actively disengaged are undetermined. The accomplishment of engaged co-worker cause great damage to organization functions. Now, employee engagement holds a very important position. Few key benefits includes better performance. Engaged employee work smarter, not harder. They keep looking for ways to improve performance at their workplace. This means more sale, lower cost, better quality, and innovation. Better communication, greater customer satisfaction. Okay, so yeah, please note down this point. The 10 C's in employee engagement is credibility, collaborative, control, confidence, career, convey, connect, contribution, clarity, and congratulate. These 10 C in employee engagement plays very fundamental role, and these has been asked. Question has been asked. They will give the four C's, um, 4 C's, and then they will ask which of them is not related to employee engagement. Okay. Now, in employee engagement, there is another concept, that is employee turnover and employee retention. Okay. Employee turnover is opposite of employee retention. Okay. So, employee turnover is not engaged. Employee is mostly led to employee turnover. Okay. And yeah, not engaged is employee turnover, and actively disengaged employment is -1. Okay. Now, another concept related to this topic is staffing policy. There are basically 3 staffing policies, that is ethnocentric approach, polycentric approach, and geocentric approach. In ethnocentric approach, the staff will be taken from culture, or this is also a cultural myopia. This question has been asked. This ethnocentric approach is known as cultural myopia. Okay. In polycenter, the main manager should be of the same culture, and other are from different countries. And geocentric, most of the people are from same geographical areas. Okay. And another one is sensitivity training, T training. Okay. This I have discussed. In sensitivity training, there is a type of training, that is transactional training, in which 3 ego states are there: parent ego state, adult ego state, and child ego state. Okay. Now let us discuss industrial relation. Industrial relation has become one of the most delicate and complex problems of modern industrial society. Industrial progress is impossible without cooperation of labor and harmonious relations. Okay. So the concept of industrial relation comprises of 2 terms: industry and relation. Industry refers to any productive activity in which an individual is engaged, and by relation we mean relationship that exhibit within the industry between employer and his worker. So the objective of industrial relation are to safeguard the interest of labor and management by securing the highest level of mutual understanding and goodwill among all those sections in industry which participate in the process of production. Second one is to avoid the industrial conflict, strife, and develop harmonious relation. And third one is to raise productivity to the higher level in an era of full employment by lessening the tendency to high turnover and frequency absentees. Okay. Then to establish and promote the growth of industry. Then socialization of industry by making the state itself. Now there are various poor industrial relations. First one is mental inertia as a part of management and labor, and then intolerant attitude of contempt towards worker on the part of management, inadequate fixation of wages and wage structure, unhealthy working condition, indiscipline, lack of human relation, inadequate welfare facilities, inter-union rivalry, general economic political environment such as rising price, strikes by other, and general disciplines. Okay. So, this is very important. According to section 2K of Industrial Dispute Act 1947, the industrial disputes Industrial disputes means any dispute or difference between employer and employer, or between employer and workman, or between workman and workman, which is connected with employment or not employment in terms of employment, condition of employment of any person. What are the causes of industrial dispute? The following principles judge the nature of industrial dispute. First one is, dispute must affect large number of workmen who have community of interest, and the rights of these workmen must be affected as a class. Second one is, the dispute must be taken up either by industry union or by a substantial number of workmen. Third one is, grievance turn from individual complaint into a general complaint. Then there must be some nexus between union and dispute. Now, forms of industrial dispute. The industrial dispute manifests in following forms. First one is strike. Strike is the most important form of industrial dispute. Strike is a spontaneous and concerned withdrawal of labor from production. The Industrial Dispute Act 1947 defines strike as suspension of worker by a group of persons employed in any industry. Action is combination of concerned refusal or refusal under a common understanding. Next is type of strikes. Primary strikes. These strikes are generally aimed against the employer with whom the dispute exists. Then secondary strike. These strikes are also called sympathetic strikes. This question has been asked. Sympathetic strike. Secondary strikes are known as sympathy strikes. It is the form of strike. The pressure is applied not against the employer but with whom the workmen have a dispute. Okay. Then next one is lockouts. Lockouts is the counterpart of a strike. While a strike is an organized or concerned withdrawal of the supply of labor, lockout is withholding demand for it. Lockout is a weapon available to employer to shut down the place of worker till the workers agree to resume work. Now, Girov. Girov means to surround. It is physical blockade of manager by encirclement aimed at preventing the egress and ingress from or to particular office or place. Now, picking and boycott. Picking is the method designed to request workers to withdraw cooperation to the employer. In picking, the worker through display sign, banners and placards drew the attention of public that there is dispute between workers and employer. Workers pretend their colleagues from entering the place of work and pursued them to join the strike. Now, grievance. Grievance means any type of dissatisfaction, discontentment arising out of factor related to employment. Okay, in organization, a grievance may arise due to several factors such as violation of management, violation of company rules and regulation, violation of labor law, violation of natural rules of justice. Various sources